Mahakoni man drowns while bathing in river at Lime Tree Back Dam. Tragedy struck on Wednesday when 26-year-old Ryan Headley, known as Wine and Red Wine, drowned while bathing in a river at Lime Tree Back Dam, Region 7. Headley, a father of one from Catherine, Mahakoni, had gone to the river with friends. During their swim, witnesses reported seeing him struggle to make it across the water. A video obtained by this publication captured the harrowing moment as Headley fought to stay afloat while others swam back in his direction. Despite their efforts, Headley was unable to reach safety. Authorities confirmed that his body has since been recovered from the river. The incident has left the local community in shock, as friends and family mourn the loss of a beloved member. Investigations are ongoing as the community grapples with the impact of this tragic event. 2 armed robbery suspects arrested. In a coordinated effort by law enforcement, 2 suspects linked to armed robbery incidents have been arrested in separate operations. Barris Parkinson, a 24-year-old unemployed resident of Eastville Housing Scheme, Annandale, was apprehended in connection with an alleged robbery under arms that occurred in Regional Police Division 4A. According to Assistant Commissioner Kali Pershram, Parkinson is currently in custody at the Vigilance Police Station, East Coast Demerara. In a follow-up operation, police acting on additional information apprehended Vibert Krassman, an 18-year-old unemployed resident of Parfait Harmony, West Bank Demerara. Krassman was arrested on the Lusignan Railway Embankment, East Coast Demerara, for an alleged armed robbery committed in Georgetown. He is also being held at the Vigilance Police Station. Both suspects are expected to face charges related to their alleged involvement in these crimes as investigations continue. The arrests highlight the ongoing commitment of local law enforcement to combat armed robbery and enhance community safety. Charlotte Street murder/suicide. 10-year-old boy remains hospitalized. A 10-year-old boy is hospitalized after being shot in the chest by his father, who fatally shot the boy's mother in a tragic incident on Charlotte Street, Georgetown, on Tuesday. The child, who suffered a single gunshot wound, is reported to be in stable condition but remains under close medical supervision as he recovers from the traumatic event. President Dr. Irfan Ali visited the boy in the hospital, offering words of comfort and assuring him that the nation stands in solidarity during his recovery. According to police reports, Ulroy Solomon, the boy's father, forcibly entered the Charlotte Street apartment around 11:50 a.m., where 36-year-old Tikadai Atia Solomon lived with their son. Witnesses described the chaos that ensued, with screams followed by a series of gunshots. Tikadai attempted to escape onto the street, but was pursued by Ulroy, who shot her multiple times, resulting in her collapse on the roadway. Authorities reported that Tikadai sustained 10 gunshot wounds, including injuries to her abdomen, arms, chest, forehead, hip, and leg. Afterward, Ulroy returned to the yard and shot the child before turning the gun on himself, inflicting a fatal wound to his head. The couple, who had been separated for approximately 2 months due to domestic issues, had recently relocated to Charlotte Street. Tikadai was employed as an accounts clerk at ExxonMobil. The community is in shock over this heartbreaking incident, highlighting the urgent need for awareness and intervention in domestic violence situations. Tiger Bay man remanded for assaulting mother of his child. Duram Noreen, a 58-year-old water vendor from Middle Street, Tiger Bay, Georgetown, has been remanded to prison after being charged with assault causing actual bodily harm. He appeared before Senior Magistrate Judy Latchman at the Georgetown Magistrates Court on Wednesday. The charge stems from an incident that allegedly occurred on August 25th at Queen Street, Georgetown, where Noreen is accused of unlawfully assaulting Dakota Agard, the mother of his child. According to the prosecutor, the altercation began when Agard approached Noreen to discuss matters related to their daughter. An argument ensued, during which Noreen reportedly picked up a bicycle bar and struck Agard multiple times. Following the incident, Agard reported the matter to the police, leading to Noreen's arrest. In court, Agard expressed her desire to maintain contact with Noreen only for the sake of their daughter and requested that he be ordered to stay away from her. Although the prosecutor did not object to bail, citing Noreen's clean record, Magistrate Latchman denied the request and remanded him to prison until September 26. Driver walks free after no-case submission upheld in fatal accident case. Dion Adam Richards, a 25-year-old resident of Diamond, East Bank Demerara, has been acquitted of charges related to causing death by dangerous driving after Magistrate Abigail Gibbs upheld a no-case submission at the Sperrendam Magistrates Court on Wednesday. Richards was charged on November 9, 2023, following a tragic accident that occurred on the Railway Embankment Road at Triumph, East Coast Demerara, which resulted in the death of 32-year-old Kirtley Christopher Cambridge from South Ruimveldt, Georgetown. Richards was released on $400,000 bail pending the trial. During the proceedings, attorney Bernard da Silva, representing Richards, argued that the prosecution had failed to present sufficient evidence to establish a prima facie case against his client. Following this argument, Magistrate Gibbs dismissed the case. According to police reports, the accident took place around 1:15 a.m. on November 8, 2023, when Cambridge was riding motorcycle CK 1795. He reportedly collided with the rear of a motor lorry, GAB 8067, which was owned by Build Smart Construction and driven by Richards. Richards claimed that he had turned north onto Agriculture Road when the speeding motorcyclist struck the lorry. Cambridge fell to the ground and sustained fatal head injuries, being pronounced dead at the scene. A subsequent breathalyzer test conducted on Richards revealed no traces of alcohol in his system. With the case dismissed, Richards is now free of any legal repercussions related to the fatal accident. Police nab Annandale man with 1,131 grams of cannabis during cordon and search operation. In a proactive intelligence-led operation, police officers from the Vigilance Police Station and Nonpareil Police Outpost arrested a 29-year-old man from Annandale Housing Scheme, East Coast Demerara, for possession of illegal drugs. At approximately 4:10 p.m. today, law enforcement officials conducted a search of the residence belonging to Joseph Tuesday, known as Pablo. During the search, officers discovered a multicolored haversack containing 2 large plastic-wrapped parcels filled with leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis. Additionally, the bag held several transparent Ziploc bags containing cannabis, as well as a sum of money believed to be proceeds from drug sales. Upon being informed of the charges, Tuesday admitted to the offense. He was subsequently arrested and taken to the Vigilance Police Station, where the suspected cannabis was weighed in his presence, totaling 1,131 grams. The cash found amounted to $70,880 Guyana currency. Joseph Tuesday has been placed in custody and is expected to face charges related to the possession and distribution of illegal narcotics. The operation underscores the ongoing efforts by law enforcement to combat drug-related activities in the region. Mahapal calls for national holiday on Elections Day to ensure free voting. In a social media statement, Ganesh Mahapal has called for September 1, 2025, to be declared a national holiday, emphasizing the importance of allowing every eligible Guyanese to vote freely and without intimidation. In a public statement, Mahapal argued that previous general and regional elections in Guyana have been recognized as national holidays to ensure citizens can exercise their democratic rights without obstacles. He stressed that declaring Elections Day a holiday is not merely a privilege but a necessity to safeguard democracy. Every Guyanese, regardless of their job or circumstance, should have equal access to the polls, Mahapal stated. He highlighted that a national holiday would provide citizens with the freedom to make their electoral choices without pressure from their work environments. Mahapal's appeal underscores the need to protect the integrity of the electoral process, advocating for a system that allows all citizens to participate fully in shaping their government. He emphasized that this practice, upheld in the past, must continue in 2025 to ensure a fair and transparent election. Any election disorder will be dealt with swiftly, Top Cop Hicken assures. As Guyana approaches the general and regional elections scheduled for September 1st, Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken has pledged that any attempts to disrupt the democratic process will be addressed swiftly and decisively. In a pre-recorded video statement released by the Guyana Police Force, GPF, on Tuesday night, Hicken emphasized the importance of maintaining law and order during this critical period. Let it be clearly understood. Any attempt to create disorder, intimidate others, or break the law will be dealt with swiftly and decisively, he stated. Hicken reassured the public that the GPF is fully prepared to ensure a safe electoral process, highlighting the deployment of officers across all 10 administrative regions and 12 policing districts. He clarified that their role is not to interfere with the voting process but to protect citizens' constitutional rights. This is an important moment for our country, a time for all of us to show the world that Guyana is a peaceful, respectful, and united nation, Hicken said, stressing the police force's commitment to maintaining order and security. He encouraged citizens to carry themselves with pride and reiterated the GPF's zero-tolerance policy for any misconduct. The role of the GPF is to maintain order and to ensure that every citizen can exercise their right without fear or disruption, he added. Hicken appealed to all citizens to join in safeguarding the peace leading up to and following the elections. Together, let's safeguard the peace before, during, and after elections, he urged, underscoring the importance of national unity during this pivotal time. Guyanese woman arrested in Bangladesh with $10.6 million worth of narcotic. Karen Petula Stuffle, a 36-year-old woman from Guyana, has been arrested at Shah Jalal International Airport in Dhaka for attempting to smuggle a significant consignment of cocaine, marking her second drug-related arrest. Stuffle was previously caught at Chetty Jugan International Airport in Guyana on September 9, 2018, with 1.14 kilograms of cocaine. Following her arrest, she was sentenced to 4 years in prison and fined $2.3 million. This latest incident occurred on August 27, 2025, when Stuffle arrived on Qatar Airways flight QR638 from Doha at approximately 2:30 a.m. Acting on a tip-off, customs officials were prepared for her arrival. Upon landing, Stuffle was identified at seat 30 and went through the immigration process before her baggage was scanned. Inspection of her luggage revealed 3 plastic jars containing several foil-wrapped capsules. In total, 22 egg-shaped capsules were recovered, and initial tests by the Department of Narcotics Control confirmed the substance to be cocaine. The haul weighed 8.66 kilograms, with an estimated street value of TK 1.3 billion, approximately $10.6 million, marking it as the largest cocaine seizure at the Dhaka airport to date. Authorities are continuing their investigation into the case, as Stuffle faces serious charges that could lead to significant penalties in Bangladesh. President Dr. Irfan Ali hints at Christmas cash grant for Guyanese citizens. President Dr. Irfan Ali has indicated that a cash grant may be available for Guyanese citizens this Christmas, reflecting the People's Progressive Party/Civic, PPP/C, commitment to enhancing the lives of all citizens. Speaking at a PPP/C public meeting in Eccles, East Bank Demerara, on Tuesday evening, the president highlighted the country's ongoing development progress under his leadership and reiterated that citizens' well-being remains a top priority for the government. When we say we will do it, that is the People's Progressive Party, President Ali told the enthusiastic crowd. Addressing Prime Minister Brigadier, Reddit Mark Phillips, he remarked, PM, you told them next year is the next grant. If they behave themselves, they get it this year. We will have a beautiful Christmas. His comments were met with loud cheers and applause from the audience, as he aimed to reinforce the administration's track record of fulfilling promises. With the general and regional elections set for September 1st, President Ali emphasized that the government's focus would continue to be on improving the lives of ordinary Guyanese while fostering economic growth. Last year, citizens aged 18 and older received a one-off cash grant of $100,000 as part of a broader initiative aimed at more equitably sharing the nation's wealth. That measure was well received as a form of direct relief during the festive season. As the government prepares for the upcoming elections, the prospect of a Christmas cash grant signals an ongoing commitment to supporting citizens and enhancing their quality of life. Photographer Karen Bruce challenges Guyanese critic to a pay-per-view fight at gymnasium. Popular Guyanese photographer Karen Bruce has publicly challenged social media personality Mikhail Rodriguez, popularly known as the Guyanese critic, to a one-on-one sanctioned fight at the National Gymnasium. In a recent video statement, Bruce said he is prepared to face Rodriguez in a fair and legal setting, stressing that he does not intend to engage in any unlawful confrontation. "If you want to fight me, I accept the challenge. But it has to be in the ring at the gymnasium, and you'll sign a waiver so I don't face legal consequences," Bruce declared. He insisted the fight should be hand-to-hand combat only, with no weapons involved, and suggested that tickets could be sold for the event. Bruce even pledged to donate part of the proceeds to Rodriguez's family. "Let's do it properly. In the ring with rules so it's fair. No street fights, no games, just a sanctioned match," he said. However, Rodriguez appeared to dismiss the challenge in a social media post, mocking those calling him out. "I opened up a can of worms. Every Antiman, dog, louse and roach want to fight me now, LMAO," Rodriguez wrote. Whether the proposed fight will actually materialize remains to be seen. Nandlal writes police and observers over threatening statements by Norton and Mohammed on election results. Attorney General Anil Nandlal has addressed serious concerns to international observers and the Guyana police force regarding recent statements made by opposition leaders Aubrey Norton and Azruddin Mohammed, suggesting they may not accept the results of the upcoming elections. In a statement released Tuesday night, Nandlal highlighted that both Norton, the leader of the A Partnership for National Unity, APNU, and Mohammed, who has recently launched his Win Party and is under U.S. sanctions, have indicated they would only recognize election results that favor their parties. Mr. Norton has repeatedly stated that if APNU does not win, he will not accept the results. Mr. Mohammed has made similar declarations, Nandlal noted. Such statements are dangerous and serve as threats to our democracy. The Attorney General confirmed that he has formally communicated his concerns to international observers and the police commissioner, urging them to take swift action where necessary to uphold the rule of law. Nandlal emphasized the opposition's troubling history of rejecting election outcomes, recalling the unrest that followed elections in 2020, 1997, and 2001. Violence and disruption accompanied each instance when results were not accepted, he asserted. He also dismissed the opposition's claims of election rigging, reiterating that the People's Progressive Party/Civic, PPP/C, has consistently respected electoral outcomes, even in defeat. "We cannot allow individuals to instill fear among their supporters by declaring they will not accept election results if they lose. That is a recipe for instability," Nandlal warned, calling for a commitment to a peaceful electoral process. Jason Carter to lead Carter Center election mission in Guyana. Jason Carter, chairperson of the Carter Center Board of Trustees and grandson of the late U.S. President Jimmy Carter, will lead the organization's election observation mission in Guyana. The Carter Center's team of election observers has already arrived in the country and is currently undergoing training in preparation for their role on Election Day. Carter will engage with key stakeholders, including political party candidates, civil society organizations, government officials, and other international election observer missions, as part of the lead-up to the electoral process. This marks his return to Guyana, having co-led the center's previous observation mission during the 2020 elections. "This is an important moment for Guyana's democracy," said Jason Calder, country director for the Carter Center. The Carter Center encourages every eligible voter to make their voice heard, and is hopeful that the electoral process will be a fully transparent one that reflects the will of the people. The center's core team of electoral experts has been in Guyana since late June and recently issued a preliminary statement summarizing key observations from the pre-election period on August 19th. Following the election, the Carter Center will release reports providing an independent and impartial assessment of the electoral process. The Carter Center is in Guyana at the invitation of the government and has been committed to strengthening democracy in the country since 1991. With a history of conducting more than 125 election observation missions worldwide, the Carter Center is recognized as a leader in the international election observation community, having previously observed elections in Guyana in 1992, 2001, 2006, 2015, and 2020. Former ANUG member backs PPP. Claims other parties pose clear danger to Guyana. Paul Yearwood, a former vocal member of a new and united Guyana, ANUG, has publicly announced his support for the incumbent People's Progressive Party Civic, PPP/C, in the upcoming elections. In a Facebook post outlining his reasons, Yearwood argues that other political contenders represent a significant threat to the nation. Yearwood emphasized that the PPP/C has demonstrated a willingness to relinquish power if defeated, a commitment he claims is absent in other parties. Those other parties will never vacate office again if they get into power, he stated, expressing confidence in the PPP/C's ability to learn from past mistakes and improve. He praised the PPP/C for its experience and management capabilities, asserting, "They have learned. They have come better. They're going to get even better in the future." He urged voters to consider the expertise of the PPP/C, contrasting it with the capabilities of other political groups. Yearwood expressed particular disdain for the We Invest in Nationhood, WIN party, led by sanctioned businessman Azruddin Mohammed, likening it to past parties with emperor tendencies. He criticized the coalition government of APNU plus AFC for its governance from 2015 to 2020, describing it as marked by greed and incompetence. Jagdeo vows to intensify efforts against domestic violence. Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo expressed deep concern over the alarming prevalence of domestic violence in Guyana, pledging to enhance government efforts to combat this grave issue. "It happens too often and in a really brutal way that stuns the country. It has no place in a modern society," Jagdeo stated during his weekly press conference on Thursday. In light of the recent tragic incident where Ulroy Solomon fatally attacked his partner, 36-year-old Tikadaya Tia Solomon, in their Georgetown apartment, Jagdeo emphasized the urgent need for action. He outlined plans for intensified government-led initiatives aimed at addressing domestic violence, including working with youth to promote positive values and engaging religious and non-governmental organizations in the fight against the scourge. "The change we need in society is necessary," he asserted, highlighting the importance of collective efforts to foster a safer environment for all. Jagdeo's remarks come at a critical time as the nation grapples with increasing reports of domestic violence, prompting calls for stronger measures to protect vulnerable individuals and promote awareness. The Vice President's commitment to tackling this issue reflects the government's recognition of the need for societal reform to eliminate domestic violence once and for all. Jagdeo claims PPP activists obtained private numbers from various sources. News source Guyana reports. In response to rising concerns about the potential misuse of private citizen data, Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, Barrett Jagdeo stated that the private cell phone numbers being contacted by party activists were gathered from various sources. Citizens have recently reported an influx of phone calls from PPP activists querying them about the party's performance over the past 5 years and informing them of upcoming campaign meetings. Some activists indicated that they received the names and numbers they were calling from the party, while others claimed the information was sourced from the cash grant database used during the distribution of funds earlier this year. At a press conference today, Jagdeo addressed the issue when questioned by reporters. "We acquired those numbers from various sources, and that's all I am going to say," he replied. In a similar inquiry 2 weeks prior, he had suggested that the numbers were collected by party activists during their community outreach efforts. "There is a register. We have a lot of information submitted by our activists when they go around the country. We gather people's numbers. It's routine canvassing, and it happens all around the world," Jagdeo explained. The Vice President firmly denied any allegations of using data provided to the government for these calls, assuring that such information remains secure. The concerns escalated further when Gordon Mosley, chief editor of NewsSource, received 2 calls within a short span from individuals claiming to be from the PPP. One caller stated that her contact information was sourced from the cash grant database, while the other was uncertain about the source but mentioned working from a PPP call center located at the Royal Hotel. Today, Jagdeo condemned the questioning of the party's activist callers, labeling it as abhorrent and reinforcing the party's commitment to responsible data handling. APNU newcomer Revoldo Birbal urges Guyanese to vote for change on September 1st. Revoldo Birbal, a newcomer and youth candidate for the A Partnership for National Unity, APNU, is calling on Guyanese citizens to head to the polls on Monday and vote for his party to remove the governing People's Progressive Party, PPP, from office. Speaking at a public meeting in Corriverton, Burbis on Wednesday night, Birbal emphasized that the upcoming election should mark the end of injustice and a system that he claims works against the poor and working class. He criticized the current administration for corruption and the rising cost of living, declaring, "You are voting against the high cost of living. The high cost of living is on the ballot, Corriverton." After September 1st, 2025, that ends. Birbal condemned the past 5 years as marred by extrajudicial killings and emphasized the urgent need for justice. "We are voting against injustice. We are voting against corruption. We are voting against extrajudicial killings in our country," he stated, rallying support for APNU's presidential candidate, Aubrey Compton Norton. He assured the audience that a government led by Norton would create a safer environment for youth, allowing them to roam the streets without fear. Birbal highlighted the party's candidates, urging citizens not to forget those on the ballot, including Ariana Young and Ronald Peters. In his address, presidential candidate Aubrey Norton criticized the government's rush to open schools and hospitals ahead of the elections, claiming many of these facilities lack essential resources. He pointed to issues developing at the Lima Hospital, arguing, "They are not interested in delivering medical services. They are interested in building buildings to get corruption money from it." Norton accused the current administration of squandering billions of dollars through corrupt practices while the poor continue to struggle. He outlined APNU's people-centered manifesto, promising free house lots for eligible citizens, along with a rent-to-own plan and rent assistance programs for low-income families. On education, Norton argued that while the government boasts about providing free education, they are merely correcting a previous wrong. He promised that under an APNU administration, school children would benefit from free transportation, hot meals, and a $120,000 annual grant. As the election date approaches, both Birbal and Norton are rallying support for their vision of a better Guyana, urging citizens to vote for change and a brighter future.